Guess who really likes boxes? No, not those boxes. This box. After much thought and research, based upon all the feedback that you guys gave me, I picked a seat. And everybody gave me 2 sets of feedback. Almost every response was Corbin or, Lapera or, Saddleman or. And the or was always the same thing. Mustang. So I figured, first shot, let's do a Mustang. Let's get this thing open and see what we got. Do you guys have as much fun with bubble wrap as I do? Because I love, right before bedtime, giving these things to the kids and letting them drive the wife nuts. She's pretty. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I got back from Sturgis, I didn't mind looking at the bike, because man, the bike is still beautiful. But I definitely did not want to sit my butt on that seat. This is the Mustang subsidiary, known as Revere seats. And this one, I would spout out the name to you, but I didn't get a single piece of paper. This is gonna be my first video where I tape it over multiple days and try to blend everything together so that I can put together a 2 or 3 day initial impressions video. But I got some really beautiful fake sun LEDs up above me. No, I don't have COVID. I just smoked too much. And so far, the stitching just seems immaculate. I do not see one loose or frayed stitch anywhere on this seat. You can clearly tell where the end of the stitch is right here. And that's it. That is absolutely amazing. Thumbs up to you guys for pointing me in the Mustang direction. I'm gonna go slap this thing on real quick and I'll get back with you guys in a couple days after I got enough butt time to give you an realistic first impressions. No, smart Alex, it didn't take me 23 hours to put the seat on. I just got a pretty crazy week, a whole lot of hours at work. But initial impressions are pretty darn good. Sits me about a ½ inch up and 1 inch forward, which is exactly what I wanted, a slightly more aggressive posture all the way around. Doesn't make my legs feel cramped up. I've got about a 34-inch inseam. And I just got tossed a curveball. So we're gonna go see if we can find some new friends. A few guys here in town found me because of YouTube. said they got all kinds of equipment and crazy stuff, and they would like to have a meetup, see if maybe we can do some work together. Apparently they got some pretty good connections for a machinist in town, a powder coater that can do this stuff called super chrome, competitive gloss finish, black powder coating, along with just about every tool and piece of equipment you could want for your home shop, except they can't professionally pull a tire. I'll settle out for having to pay for that if I can do everything else but engine work myself. I never thought I was gonna ride this bike again, but we're out here, we're gonna do some quick assessments on whether or not we can do some fabrication to fix an issue, which we're going to go into a lot more detail on in the future if we actually come up with a solution. So apparently every other 7-inch LED headlight in the Harley lineup has a completely different supporting system than the 7-inch LED headlamp on the Sport Glide. And my wife is obsessed with getting herself a bright pink halo around her headlight. I get it. Everybody has different assessment on what's cool factor for them, and every single 7-inch LED headlamp that we can find works on a completely different system. Man, I almost don't want to change the suspension for the first 1,000 miles because I really want to feel how this thing breaks in. This seat has been so good for the first 120 miles, not even broken in, that the suspension went from, oh my god, this sucks, after 3.5, 4 hours straight, to this isn't bad. And we talked about how I went and visited some new people here in town that I just met because of this channel, and just wanted to show you guys what we did yesterday. I'm gonna go into a lot more detail on this in a future video. It's almost impossible to find a halo that changes color for a Sport Glide, but you can find tons of them for all the touring models, the Fat Boy, the Heritage, everything else with a 7-inch LED headlight. You can find halos all day. So in order to keep the wifely unit happy, I ordered a 7-inch halo enabled color changing LED for a touring model, and we just made some real quick modifications to the housing that the light mounts up to, and got everything set up absolutely perfect. So we're gonna do another video and we're gonna go over some of this stuff, but please tell me if you guys are not excited about the Sport Glide or Glitter Bomb, any of that kind of stuff. If you guys just purely want me to keep the Road Glide special content coming, then we will do that. I think that about covers everything that I've got in my initial 3-day assessment on the seat. I just I mean, this is not a $900 seat cut in half and charged in half type of quality. That's for sure. I've sat on a lot of seats early in their break-in period. But is this a $700 seat cut in half and costing 350 bucks because it was half the material and half the labor? Yeah, it's on par with a $700 two-up seat in my opinion so far. But this did kind of expedite my interest in swapping out the rear fender after I noticed that I'm either gonna have to do a bib or I'm gonna have to change out the rear fender. The ideas that I got in my head for a bib are kind of crazy, you know, going in the spirit of El Guapo. I'm thinking a leather and chrome bib that starts back here and makes some kind of cool pattern that goes all the way down to where the license plate is, because there's just not enough places to put chrome on this bike if you're trying to go full out. If you guys know anybody that makes custom bibs for the back of your bike, please give me that information. I'm willing to pay top dollar for the absolute right piece that will mount in here, come all the way down, and then just drill a hole right here for the final point. And yes, it's starting to rain. I'm cold. I didn't care. This seat has been so impressive over 3 days and just a little 120 miles that I wanted to get this thing complete and sent out. Don't knock the Revere series of seats just because they're not made at the primary factory. And then to touch up on our previous video, I did do the homework. I called factories, I sent out emails, and no one responded to me about whether or not the bars that said that they worked from 15 to 20 worked for any of the 21s. So we're going to just go with trusted opinions that say, yes, I slapped this on my bike and I had no issues putting it on a 2021. I will catch you guys in a few days. Don't forget, I'm never going to tell you to click a bunch of crazy buttons on your screen. You know where those buttons are. If you want to see the rest of this content, you'll click them. Later.